Going to get started. So welcome everybody to our product passion. Today we're going to be talking about omegas, in particular the SolleMegas that we have with Soul Naturals. So we will get started on that. And first, I wanted to remind everyone or let everyone know that May is Mental Health Awareness Month. So Soul Naturals, because mental health is extremely important to them. And I know most all of us were drawn to Soul because of the mental health aspect that it brings us, the mind-body balancing. So they have some very special things they're going to be doing for the month of May. So we will be sharing those with you guys. And if you're not already following them on Facebook, make sure you're following them on Soul Business and Soul Naturals Experiences, because they will be posting all of the different things they're going to be doing for Mental Health Awareness Month. I know Dr. Allison Caldwell Andrews is doing different seminars on different things to help our mental state. This is something that's really, really, really important right now, more important than ever, in my opinion. So it would be awesome to be able to participate in some of these things and share them with others so that we can help them in the process. So omegas, okay, we've all been hearing a lot of things for a very long time about how important omegas are, especially for the brain, but they do a lot of different things. But the human brain weighs about 3 pounds, a little more than 3 pounds, and 60% of it is fat. It's one of the fattiest organs in the human body, but it is obviously one of the most important organs. It plays a major role in every body system. So a lot of times we're thinking about decreasing our fat intake, but there's one type of fat we don't want to decrease. We actually want to increase, and those are the omega-3 fatty acids. And so most people when they think of, omegas and fatty acids, they think of fish, because that's how most people get their omega source is through fish oils. So what I didn't even realize when I started with Soul over 8 years ago is that we don't get omegas from the fish. They eat the plants that have the omegas. So what Soul did is they took out the middle fish and they went straight to the source so that we could get the best possible quality of fatty acids directly from the plants that produce it. Because our bodies don't produce omegas on their own. So we need to supplement our diet with these fatty acids. And so this has been very critical for the brain and for babies' development, for children, for adults. And, back in the 20s, it was easy to get omegas from our foods. But now what we're finding, because of how food is processed, the omega-6s are what is in everything, and those are the bad fats, the junk, the canola oils, and all the things that don't help our brains. So that's what is in the typical American diet. So what we want to do is we want to have a balance of the fatty acids. This is really, really important, because the omega-3 fatty acids, they're essential nutrients that regulate your brain structure. And so they're just very, very critical, especially during the aging process, but also in fetal development. There's so many places where these are so important for us, and we need to make sure that we're getting an adequate amount of these fatty acids, starting within the womb, for sure. There's been a lot of different studies on the omegas and the effect on children, for instance, talking about ADHD, ADD, different behavioral disorders with young ones, hyperactivity, they can't concentrate. They did a study in 2020, which involved 942 children between the ages of 6 to 12 with behavioral disorders, ranging from all kinds of different, behavior issues. And they were split into 2 groups, and the ones that received the omega-3 fatty acids, the other did not. But by the end of the study period, the children who'd been taking these omega-3 supplements had their quality of life changed, their scores improved drastically. and their behavior significantly changed. They've done studies on prisoners and who were in there for violent crimes. And they did studies where they would put a certain group of prisoners on the omegas and change their diet, and the violent crimes went down in prison. So there's something really special here about these fatty acids and what it does for the brain. It was interesting because I have always really appreciated Dr. Amen. I'm sure a lot of people are familiar with him. He studies the brain, and he studied the brain for a very, very long time. And so he had talked, I've been thinking it's the Change Your Brain, Change Your Life. And it just showed how, if you sustain an injury, and like a lot of times we don't think of falling and hitting our head is a big deal, right? Unless you end up unconscious for months, right? Then it's a big deal. But when, let's say, a child falls and hits their head, but they seem okay, their damage has been done. Now, what happens is when, all brains are different. But if your brain sustains an injury of some sort, it changes the brain. So there's a part of the brain that can be affected, and that can trigger anger, impulses, depression. It could even be onset of dementia, Alzheimer's type, symptoms. And so it was interesting because he was sharing about a boy he treated. And this boy fell downstairs when he was about 3. I think it was 3 years old. And he had hit his head, obviously, he fell downstairs, and he was unconscious only maybe for a couple minutes. Okay. Well, that boy got older, became a teenager, and he talked about how I feel like it was, I may be mistaken, but whatever scenario it was, I feel like it was a baseball game or something. He was playing softball or whatever. And he all of a sudden attacked a young girl, got angry and freaked out. Well, it turned out in the end, he told everyone it was his nephew. And so he did brain scans of his nephew. And it turned out that fall actually had created something in his brain. And that was the part of the brain that controlled impulses and controlled anger and all those types of things. So it was almost like it was beyond his control, these impulses, the anger that would come up. And so fortunately, that's what he did. And so he found that his brain was completely different because of that fall. So if you don't get the right tools, and he said this is the problem with, the medical community, is psychiatrists are basically throwing darts in the dark to try to fix these problems, but they're throwing medications at these people, and these people's brains are all different. So you don't know what you're doing. He said, you're just throwing darts in the dark, not knowing where it's going to aim. And so he's like, you find these ones who are like the Columbine and Sandy Hook, these young ones who flip out. And it made so much sense because they were all on these antipsychotic meds and these antidepressants, and they flip out. And he was like, this boy was heading that direction because of the injury that was to no fault of his own. And so he put him on a brain program based on that. And he believes very strongly in using omegas also. So with football players that get concussions and always hit their heads, I mean, there's so much damage that can be done there. But there are different imbalances in the brain that makes everybody's brains different. And if they don't get the right fatty acids for their brain and the right brain programs, it can set them up for absolute failure for the rest of their lives. And a lot of times they end up committing crimes. They're on drugs. They're in prison. So, learning about how important it is that we treat the whole body and mind is so critical. And so it just really helps us to have even more confidence in what Soul Naturals represents and what they're about, and how we want to give our children, ourselves, our parents, the tools. Also when it comes to Alzheimer's, Parkinson's, dementia, All these things really show a lowered amount of fatty acids. So if we can start focusing in on, okay, what can we do? How can we be proactive here and give everyone in our life, including ourselves, the upper hand? Because the standard American diet is designed to kill us. I mean, if we're going to be honest, that's what it's designed for. It keeps us sick and dependent on a system. So with us, we want to take control. And omegas are one of those things that, you know, after going through all this, I mean, I knew these things, but, you know, whenever you study it, every time Beck and I go through a topic with different products, we're like, oh my gosh, we need to do more of this. Oh my gosh, so-and-so needs this one, you know? So it's always good to go over because it's so, so, so important. So, and there's so much to learn. There's so much that we can research. But this is something we definitely want to add to our arsenal right now, especially right now. And if people are dealing with a head injury or depression or ADHD or, you know, Alzheimer's, dementia, Parkinson's, all of that, this is an amazing, amazing product to help add to our arsenal for our brain programs, which our brains affect everything. So we've got to heal it, take care of it, and nourish it. And this is one of the ways that we can do that. So we're going to go into just a few of the different things that are in the omegas. So that's where they get their sources from. So it does so many things. I mean, right now I wanted to focus on the brain, especially because of things people are going through right now with mental health issues. It's really, really important, but it helps with improved circulation. It helps with skin. I would like Becca to share after this, you know, your experience with the SolleMegas, because I know they've really changed you with your skin issues. It really helps with the brain, with focusing the mind. It helps with joints, and it helps with the nervous system. And this is becoming more and more popular. People know that they need, they use fish oils, and with that, and so it's so funny because most people don't even know we don't get it from fish. It's just the plants that they eat. And now there's problems with fish too, having mercury and not be, you know, being toxic. So it's like really awesome to have a source that's plant sourced. We know that Soul takes, you know, our health very seriously, and they want to give us the best of the best. And I've taken fish oils before, and it's gross. You know, you burp up fish odor. It's disgusting, you know. So I'd much rather cut out the middle fish and go straight to the source. And that's what Soul Naturals does. So one of the things that it has in it is sea buckthorn, which has both the fruit and the seed. It has the omegas 3, 6, 7, and 9. It contains 160 biological compounds, which also is 22 fatty acids. So you really want a balance of everything. And what happens is our diets are, so if we're getting it from just the junk food that we're eating, we get the majority of them from the 6s, and that is not good. So we want to have a balanced array of all the different omegas here. So this is cardioprotective. We really need that right now more than ever. All right. So this sea buckthorn, it does so many things. Like we could go on and on about it, but it's helps to fight against skin aging. I know that a lot of people have actually put together different concoctions using the SolleMegas for anti-aging for their face, which I actually haven't done, but I really need to. I think that would be really awesome. Let's see here. It really helps fight depression, and this is just the sea buckthorn. So there's several different things in here that help with the nervous system, with the brain, with the skin. Chia seeds, we're all very familiar with that. Everybody wants to put chia seeds in their shakes, and you know, they know that it's good for you, so they just, you know, put it in things in your oatmeal. So it says it can have 40% of its mass in omega-3 oils just in the chia seeds. So that's pretty cool. Also a cardioprotector. So that's awesome. The flaxseed, we're all very familiar with that. That's high in lignans, which helps with your hormones also. So it's a good one. It really helps with emotions. It helps with the balancing the moods. It helps with mood swings. Then we have black currant, which has quercetin, which is something some of you might have heard of that we should be taking right now. It has anthocyanins, I'm saying these wrong, and proanthocyanins. It really helps with the emotions as well. It helps with cholesterol. We found that people that took the omegas, it actually lowered their cholesterol. So that's a really good thing. And then we have lecithin, sunflower lecithin. So it's a non-soy source, because I know some people are concerned with that. It has digestive and nervous system health benefits. It helps in fat emulsification and assimilation. So like when you get your omegas and you see the little floaty things in there, I know people are like, what in the heck? Well, that's what that is. So you don't need to worry at all about that. So it's 100% plant-based, 3-to-1 omegas versus omega-6 ratio. So it gives you that harmony, and it's 1,000 milligrams per soft gel. And it depends. I mean, your average amount that most people take is 2 to 4 a day. But if you're dealing with some severe brain issues, you know, like for me, I would probably up it to even more than that, maybe even 3 and 3, or even more, depending, like if I were dealing with dementia or you know, Alzheimer's or some real severe head injuries, I would probably increase it quite a bit for at least a period of time. And you can also open it up, and, you know, Becca can talk about that because I know she really likes to do that. Because some might be like, I cannot get my kids to swallow that, you know, but it goes down pretty easy. But, you know, kids get freaked out sometimes. So there are other ways that you can do that. So we can see that it promotes heart health, helps your brain, helps depression, helps with inflammation, helps reduce joint pain, and the list just goes on and on and on and on. So what we can really see here is that this is something that we all need very badly, very badly. And the majority of people can take a couple a day and that'll be enough. But like I said, if you're dealing with something more severe, you might want to take more therapeutic amounts of it. It's not going to hurt you, but it could really help. So thank you all. That there's so much information. So, you know, you guys might want to even do more research on your own, but those were some things I thought were really valuable. Also, those that are on here, were entered. Are you ready yet, Becca, or not yet? We have the Wheel of Fun. So whoever was on today is going to be entered into the wheel, and you are going to get to win.
I feel like I might be missing someone. I see there's one more person, but I can't see who might have popped on at the end.
You want me to tell you?
Well, okay. I think I've got everybody. Oh no, I found the person. Hang on.
Okay, we don't want to miss anyone.
I don't want to miss anybody. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and screen share our Wheel of Fun so you guys can win your bottle. Hang on a second. Let me see here. Are you seeing just the Wheel of Fun?
You see the names too.
Okay.
The Wheel of Fun.
Okay, I'm going to go full screen. Oops. Here we go. Hooray! All right, you won a bottle of SolleMegas, so I'm sure we have your address if you want to gift it to somebody.
Girl.
Yes, if you want it for you, we'll send it to you. If you want to gift it, we can send it to wherever you would like. So let me go ahead and stop.
Perfect. I have a friend I want to give it to, and she's local, so it's perfect.
Awesome. That's perfect.
Thank you.
What I love about this is you can gift it to someone too. So
yes,
you already have it.
That's perfect.
Ah, awesome.
Thanks,
well, thank
girls.
you all. Thank you all for joining us. Did anybody? Oh, Becca, can you share your experience with the SolleMegas, please?
I'm sure there's probably multiple people on here that have some good stories about the SolleMegas, but I've had a few different ones. I have a lot of skin issues myself. I tend to get really dry, cracked feet and dry, cracked fingers and just a lot of skin issues. And so I use it for that, and it totally keeps it at bay. I've actually opened the capsules and put them on my dog, Bella, who has like bad allergies and hot spots. I've given it to her in the capsule form too. It's worked great both ways because she was kind of my guinea pig with that. And my husband cannot go without it because he gets really bad psoriasis all right here on his scalp, down around his around his mouth and chin. And once he started taking it, he has not had a problem with it at all. So that's just the stuff that we can see. So you figure if you can see those kind of benefits, you know it's making some big changes internally too. The level of quality of these omegas is phenomenal. And another thing to consider, we used to buy DHA. We used to buy, DHA, omega-3s, lecithin. We had, I want to say there were like 4 different supplements that we used to buy to cover all of our oils. And this is pre-Solle, of course. And this has replaced all of them. The benefits for the digestive system, like what Rachel was mentioning about the way the lecithin emulsifies the fat, breaks down the fat, that's wonderful for people. A lot of people have troubles with breaking down their fats, have gallbladder issues and things. And so the lecithin in this actually really helps the body to break down the fat. So this has replaced all of our oil supplements that we used to take. So I am a huge fan of this. I'll never go back. So it seems, I remember when I first started, I was like, oh, it's a little pricey. But then when I realized how much it covers, it's a killer deal, because we were spending probably $100 a month on our oils. I mean, at least, because we were covering multiple people, but it was so much more. So you're getting so much in this little capsule. So I'm a huge fan of this stuff. But does anyone else have any other experiences or uses that they've had for the SolleMegas?
How many do you take, Rebecca?
Well, okay. I personally would only take 4, but my husband keeps adding more to my herbs. But I try to take 4 a day, but he always makes me take 6 because he's crazy. Because he reads all the benefits and he's like, well, it helps your heart and it helps this.
Wow.
And that. So
Okay. So up to 6 a day.
You can take as many as you want. And I actually love to chew them. And so I have to control myself because I like to bite them and eat them. I think they're really good. But he's like, if it's great, I'm going to give you a 10 of it. And so when he reads all the benefits, he's like trying to load me up on them. But I think I really need like 4.
Yeah. Well, and I mean, your average person only needs 2 to 4.
Mm-hmm.
So it is expensive. So you have to kind of decide how much you want to do. But if you're dealing with more stuff and it's worth it, you need to do more. But just for your average person, I would say 2 to 4.
Yes.
But Chris is like a go big or go home type of guy. So
he loves an abundance.
Yeah.
Any other questions, you guys? No. Okay.
So we appreciate you all coming on, and we're going to be going into the specialist meeting, which if anyone's interested in being a specialist or you are a specialist or just want to learn about it,